The Atlanta Falcons just made several moves that could change everything. From resting quarterbacks to signing and releasing players to shuffling depth at key positions, this is a big signal about where this team is heading. So let's break it down right now. First up, the quarterbacks. The Falcons have decided to neither play Kirk Cousins nor Michael Penix in preseason game 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is interesting for two big reasons. Reason number one, we know that they don't want either one of those guys getting hurt in a meaningless preseason game. That's pretty standard. But reason number two, that's where things get interesting. Could this be about Cousins? Does this mean that they're keeping him healthy for a possible trade? Or is it simple? Cousins just saying, I don't want to play. I don't need the reps right now. And here's where the real debate kicks in. By holding them out, could the Falcons be setting themselves up for a slow start to the season? Remember, Week 1 is against a division rival, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if Penix comes out rusty and Atlanta sputters out of the gate, fans are going to look back at this decision and wonder, was it a mistake? This type of move just doesn't impact the game against the Dallas Cowboys, but it could be a ripple into September and beyond. Now let's transition into other quarterback news. The Falcons signed Ben DiNucci while also releasing wide receiver DJ Chark and waiving injured quarterback Emery Jones. Now, some people might tie this directly to Kirk Cousins, but I don't think that's the case. This feels like a pure depth move. Jones is most likely done for the preseason after his concussion, and the team simply needs another arm for practice and live snaps and also to play against the Cowboys. For context, DiNucci was drafted by the Cowboys in 2020, started one game as a rookie, and since then bounced around the league mostly on practice squads. Most recently, he was on the Saints, and he's here not to be like a future piece of the Falcons. He's here, to be honest, to get through this preseason game against Dallas. So no, this doesn't scream quarterback controversy. It screams we need a guy to hand the ball off and run the offense against the Cowboys. Now let's talk about one of the more surprising moves. The Falcons cut veteran wide receiver DJ Chark. Why? Simply put, he didn't earn his spot. Casey Washington and Chris Blair stepped up and took his reps. Washington especially flashed with strong chemistry with Michael Penix Jr. and has been making plays all throughout camp. Chark was given every chance to seize the role, but Washington flat out won it. And this is a big statement. It shows the Falcons are not only serious about trusting in younger guys, but they're also able to let competition dictate the depth chart. No veteran freebies out here. You have to produce. Now, another under-the-radar but important move, the Falcons signed edge rusher Ronnie Perkins. This is tied directly to what we saw in the preseason game, in my opinion. James Pearce Jr. played late into that one, which raised the eyebrows with fans. But that wasn't just about snaps, it was about depth. By adding Perkins, the Falcons give themselves another body to rotate and keep guys like Pierce fresher or potentially off the field. Perkins was a third-round pick back in 2021. He's played in the NFL. He's most recently played in the UFL with the Birmingham Stallions, where he put up 17 tackles and 3.5 sacks in just 5 games. Now, he's probably not going to make the 53-man roster, but he's a needed depth piece while the team sorts out reps and injuries. And speaking of injuries, linebacker Jalen Walker is out nursing a growing injury and expected to be back midweek, aka Wednesday. I will say this. The Falcons really need him on the field for reps, especially since he's adjusting to this new position. And until he's ready, the Perkins signing can help a little bit to give that defensive depth and also gets James Pearce off the field, especially late in these preseason games. But I also will say this. Jalen Walker needs reps. He needs to practice, and he needs to get better. And he cannot be out here nursing an injury for the rest of the season, because I think that's just a terrible sign for his future in the Atlanta Falcons organization. Now, practice notes from today. Reports say today's session was kind of sloppy. And honestly, that's really not shocking. After the intensity of joint practices with Tennessee Titans a few days ago, I feel like that energy kind of dipped, and that urgency hasn't really been there. And also, you got to think the starters didn't play much against the in the preseason game. They just didn't play at all, and then you have 2 days rest after that preseason game that most of those guys didn't play. It's going to be rusty after not doing any activities in about 3 days. But here's the thing. This week wasn't just about putting on a perfect practice. It was about making key roster moves, but also getting guys in the shape and getting guys ready to participate and play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1 in September. So let's recap. Cousins and Penix won't play against Dallas. Ben DiNucci is here for emergency depth. DJ Chark is out with Casey Washington's stock rising. Ronnie Perkins is here to help with edge depth. Jalen Walker is still working back. Keep an eye on that. And the practice today, a little sloppy, but the roster moves were really the real story. Now, these may not grab headlines, but this is what's going on today in the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if you're worried about any of the things I just said, please do me a favor. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're most worried about, either with this re-signings, the cut, the waves, or the injuries. Leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, check this one out right here. And like always, peace.